"You ready now?" he blurted with excitement. She nodded while chewing on her bottom lip, and Tank damn near started to cry. Watching Simone undress was the closest he had ever come to a religious experience. She slipped off her top, then ran her fingers through her silky black hair. Tank gazed up at this delicate porcelain doll as she rolled her hips in slow circles. It surprised him that she could dance so sexy. She unbuttoned her white jean shorts and let them settle at her ankles, then playfully kicked them off. The lacy turquoise panties underneath complemented her shape and skin tone. She did a slow turn so that he could see that they were thong. That was when Tank noticed a small devil tattoo on the upper part of her right butt cheek. Apparently, his good girl had a bit of a wild side. She stooped down to mount him, and their lips met again. Tank held her against his chest and ran his hungry hands all over her. The kiss was eternal, blissful, but she broke it only to ask, "Why do you still have your clothes on?" Tank had been so mesmerized by her striptease that he forgot to undress himself. He jumped out the bed and stripped to his boxers while she slipped beneath the covers. With a shyness that he just found too cute, she pulled the sheets up to her neck, unhooked her bra and shimmied out of her panties, then tossed the lacy underwear at his feet. When Tank scooped up her panties and sniffed them, Simone giggled like a schoolgirl. Back in the bed, he rolled on top of her 4'11" frame, using his arms to brace himself so he wouldn't crush Simone under his 345 pounds. She playfully jiggled the fat rolls on his side and said, "Papa Bear," which was her pet name for him. He called her Tiny Angel. "I love you." The words were spoken so sweetly and meekly that he cried tears of joy for a future filled with promise. A future with Simone. He knew that her words weren't just a confession, they were a plea. Simone was surrendering herself to him while asking only with her eyes, "Take me, but don't abuse me." Tank kissed his way down her neck until he found her breasts. Simone was a modest B-cup, and while he had seen much bigger, none had been more flawless. On mounds of buttercream flesh, her quarter-size areola sat like caramel brown peaks. Each was crowned with a fat, stubby nipple that he teased with his tongue before taking both swells into his mouth one after the other. He sank beneath the covers, leaving a trail of kisses down her stomach, past a navel ring he never noticed, and then lower. Tank learned that she was waxed, and this relieved him, because he feared that a girl who wasn't heavily into sex might neglect her lady garden. He kissed her lips, opened them, then attacked the clit with a trained tongue. This was where he shined, and he had been eager to show off his skills to Simone. Tank was under the sheets, doing what he did best. He wasn't big and couldn't last very long, but Tank learned that a female was less likely to complain about a little dick nigga who couldn't fuck if he could make her come 4 or 5 times by eating it first. She moaned her appreciation, and the sound of her ecstasy made him go harder. When Simone grabbed the back of his head and started grinding her crotch into his face, Tank knew he had her. Then Simone screamed, and it was not the pleasure-filled cry of a girl about to bust. There was surprise and terror in that sound. Tank feared that he somehow had hurt her, so he threw the blanket off his head to check on her. When he saw the gun, he knew that his talented tongue had not been the problem. 2 big black guns were pointed directly at his head. They were only rifles, but with the barrels only an inch away from his face, they loomed as large and menacing as battleship cannons. 4 of them, armed, they were all surrounding the bed. They had crept into the room as stealthily as ninjas and were dressed the part. Black from head to toe, combat boots, cargo pants, long-sleeve shirts under Kevlar vests, ski masks, and leather gloves. Their masks